Lena stood at the edge of her small kitchen, staring at the pile of bills scattered across the table. She had always been a good cook, and with her family struggling to make ends meet, she needed to find work quickly. That's when she heard about a rancher a few towns over looking for someone to prepare meals for him. Intrigued, Lena felt a mix of hope and nervousness as she made her way to the ranch. The moment she arrived, Lena was struck by the vastness of the land. Green fields stretched for miles, framing a rustic house that looked like it had seen better days. Jake, the rancher, greeted her with a warm smile and rugged charm. He seemed kind yet carried an aura of sadness that tugged at Lena's heart. As she settled into her new job, she tried to focus on cooking hearty meals. Stews and cornbread were favorites in this part of the world. But as days turned into weeks, a strange feeling clung to her. The ranch was beautiful but felt haunted by unspoken stories. Little did she know that her culinary adventure would soon take a dark turn, leading her deep into secrets buried among the garden's vegetables. As Lena stepped into the ranch house, she took in the simple yet cozy furnishings. The kitchen was warm, filled with the scent of herbs and spices. Jake leaned against the counter, his sleeves rolled up to reveal strong forearms. "Welcome, Lena," he said, his voice deep and inviting. "I'm glad you could come." He offered her a seat at the wooden table and explained what he needed. "I've been managing on my own for a while now," he admitted with a slight smile that faded quickly. "Cooking isn't my strong suit, though I've tried." His honesty made her feel at ease, and she couldn't help but notice the loneliness behind his eyes. Jake went on to explain the terms of employment. "I can pay you well, better than most jobs around here," he said earnestly. Lena's heart raced. This was more than she expected. She felt a sense of relief wash over her, knowing this opportunity could help her family tremendously. Despite the unease she had sensed earlier, something about Jake's demeanor drew her in. He seemed genuine, and as they talked about meals and preferences, Lena began to imagine how cooking could brighten not just their days, but also his lonely existence. Little did she know that their relationship would soon uncover much more than just shared meals. Lena stepped out of her car, feeling the sun's warmth on her skin as she took in the sprawling ranch before her. The fields were vast and dotted with wildflowers, but there was an unsettling quiet that hung in the air. As she walked toward the house, she noticed how the wind seemed to whisper through the trees, carrying a sense of mystery. Jake stood at the door, a warm smile on his face, but there was something in his eyes that made Lena pause. His charming demeanor masked an underlying sadness, and she couldn't shake the feeling that he was hiding something. As they entered the cozy ranch house, Lena felt a peculiar chill despite the sun outside. The walls were adorned with faded photographs of smiling faces, yet none of them seemed to belong to Jake. She wondered who had filled this home with laughter before it fell silent. As they chatted, Lena sensed an uneasy tension in Jake's laughter. It felt forced, as if he were trying to convince himself that everything was fine. The atmosphere thickened around them, and Lena couldn't help but feel that the ranch held secrets buried deeper than just the soil in the garden outside. As Lena adjusted to her new routine, Jake assigned her the task of tending to the kitchen garden, which he claimed was essential for fresh ingredients. She stepped outside, eager to dig her hands into the earth, but as she entered the garden, a wave of unease washed over her. The garden was impeccably maintained, with rows of vibrant vegetables and fragrant herbs. Yet there was something off about it. The plants seemed to thrive with an unnatural vigor, almost as if they were hiding secrets beneath their rich green leaves. As she worked, Lena couldn't shake the feeling that the garden was alive in a way that felt unsettling. The air around her grew thick with an unspoken tension, and she found herself glancing over her shoulder, half expecting someone or something to emerge from the shadows. While pulling weeds and pruning branches, Lena noticed a small wooden marker tucked among the plants. It was old and worn, engraved with a name that sent chills down her spine. She couldn't help but wonder if this garden held more than just vegetables. Perhaps it concealed memories or even truths that had long been buried. With each passing moment, Lena felt drawn deeper into the mystery surrounding not only the garden but also Jake himself. As Lena continued her work at the ranch, she ventured into town for supplies, hoping to learn more about the community surrounding Jake. The small local market buzzed with life, but conversations hushed when she entered. It didn't take long for a few curious townsfolk to approach her, eager to know what brought her to the ranch. "Working for Jake, are you?" one woman said, her voice low and conspiratorial. "Be careful. They say his wife had an accident out there not too long ago." The woman's eyes darted around as if afraid of being overheard. Noticing Lena's growing unease, she added, "Some believe he buried her right in that garden you're tending." Lena felt a chill creep down her spine. The whispers continued, each story more disturbing than the last. Tales of a tragic fall, of heartbreak, and of the strange way Jake acted after losing her. It was clear that the townsfolk thought the ranch was haunted by memories of the past. Each whispered rumor only deepened Lena's curiosity while also stirring a sense of dread within her. She returned to the ranch feeling unsettled, aware that uncovering the truth about Jake's wife might be unavoidable. After a tense day of gardening, Lena decided to explore the small storage shed behind the house, hoping to find useful tools. As she rummaged through old boxes, her fingers brushed against something crumpled and yellowed at the bottom of one of them. Pulling it out, she realized it was an old newspaper clipping, its headline faded but still legible, "Local woman missing. Mystery surrounds disappearance of Jake's wife." Her heart raced as she began to read the article, which detailed how Jake's wife had vanished without a trace several years ago. Neighbors reported hearing strange noises coming from the ranch just before she disappeared, and speculation grew around her fate. Some believed she had run away due to Jake's controlling nature, while others whispered darker tales of foul play. Lena felt a chill creep down her spine as she processed the chilling words. The article also hinted that searches had been conducted near the garden, a haunting detail that echoed in her mind. Clutching the brittle paper, Lena realized that the rumors were rooted in truth. She understood now that the garden wasn't just a source of vegetables. It was entwined with Jake's sorrow and possibly the key to revealing what really happened to his wife. As Lena returned to the garden after her unsettling discovery, she couldn't shake off the eerie sensations that now hung in the air. The sunlight felt dimmer, casting long shadows that danced ominously among the rows of plants. Each time she knelt to pull weeds or check on the vegetables, she felt an unsettling prickling along her spine, as if unseen eyes were watching her every move. One afternoon, while tending to a patch of tomatoes, Lena stumbled upon a small, rusted locket half buried in the soil. Curious, she dug it out and wiped away the dirt. The locket opened easily, revealing a faded photograph of a woman who looked remarkably like the photographs she had seen of Jake's wife. A sense of foreboding washed over her as Lena clutched the locket tightly. It was as if the garden was whispering secrets she wasn't ready to hear. On another day, as evening approached and shadows lengthened, Lena could have sworn she heard soft whispers carried by the wind. They were faint but persistent, beckoning her to listen closely. Each strange occurrence deepened her anxiety, making her question whether she was truly alone in the garden, or if something far more sinister lingered just out of sight. Determined to uncover the truth, Lena finally approached Jake one evening while they were having dinner. The atmosphere was heavy with unspoken words. She took a deep breath, her heart racing as she prepared to confront him. "Jake," she began cautiously, "I found something in the garden, a locket, and I heard rumors about your wife." Jake's expression shifted instantly. The warmth in his eyes flickered as he put down his fork, studying her face for a moment. "What do you want to know?" he asked softly, a hint of vulnerability creeping into his voice. Lena could see how hard it was for him to revisit this chapter of his life, but she pressed gently, hoping to draw out the pain hidden beneath his stoic facade. "The townsfolk talk about her disappearance and the accident. What really happened?" He exhaled deeply, looking away as if searching for the right words in the shadows of his thoughts. "It was a long time ago," he said slowly, each word weighted with sorrow. She loved this garden. One day she just vanished while we were out here." As Jake shared more about the day of her disappearance and the sorrow that followed, Lena felt compassion for him but also a growing sense of dread. Secrets were surfacing that might change everything. With a heavy sigh, Jake finally revealed the truth that had haunted him for years. Lena, she didn't just disappear, he said, his voice trembling with emotion. My wife died here, in this garden. His eyes glistened with tears as he continued, revealing the depth of his sorrow and guilt. There was an accident. One moment she was with me and the next, I found her lying among the flowers. Lena felt her heart ache for Jake as he spoke. He explained how they had been planting together when a sudden moment of carelessness led to her tragic fall. Overcome with despair, Jake couldn't bring himself to let go. I buried her right here, he admitted, gesturing to the very soil she had tended so lovingly. I wanted to keep a part of her close. Each word poured from him with painful honesty, and Lena sensed the weight of his decision. The garden was not just a source of food. It was a shrine to his lost love. As the truth settled between them, Lena saw a transformation in Jake. The man who had seemed cold and distant suddenly appeared vulnerable and broken. She understood now that his sorrow was intertwined with every blossom and blade of grass around them. As Lena processed Jake's heartbreaking confession, her mind whirled with conflicting emotions. She felt a deep sympathy for his pain, yet the revelation of his wife's death weighed heavily on her heart. The garden, once a simple place for growing vegetables, had transformed into a haunting reminder of loss and grief. Lena couldn't help but wonder if she was doing the right thing by staying. Part of her yearned to help Jake heal from his sorrow, to breathe life back into a space filled with memories. She imagined cooking meals together that infused warmth and comfort into his days, believing that perhaps love could blossom where despair now lingered. But another part of her felt an insistent pull to leave, to escape the shadows of the past that clung to the ranch like an unwelcome guest. Could she truly find peace in a place where such tragedy had unfolded? Every corner of the garden now felt heavy with untold stories, and Lena feared that becoming entwined in Jake's grief would only lead her deeper into darkness. As she worked in the kitchen that night, she wrestled with her decision. Should she stay and help him cope or walk away from the heartache that surrounded them both? Choosing to stay, Lena found a renewed sense of purpose as she began to help Jake navigate his grief. She transformed the kitchen into a lively space filled with laughter and the enticing aroma of her cooking. Each dish she prepared seemed to carry a message of love and remembrance that not only honored Jake's wife, but also gradually brought warmth back into the ranch. Lena introduced new recipes inspired by Jake's late wife, sharing stories about her passion for cooking and gardening, which helped Jake connect with those fond memories. The more they talked about her, the lighter the atmosphere became, as if the garden was no longer a place of sorrow but a sanctuary for cherished memories. As Lena prepared meals for the community, she invited friends and neighbors over, rekindling the spirit of camaraderie that had long faded from the ranch. The gatherings allowed Jake to share his story with others, fostering support and understanding. Together, they celebrated life, creating new bonds while honoring the past. In time, Lena and Jake found solace in each other's company. The garden flourished alongside their growing friendship, symbolizing healing and hope as they took steps forward together, leaving the shadows behind them. As the seasons changed, Lena embraced her new role at the ranch with open arms. No longer just a cook, she became a beacon of hope for Jake and the community. The kitchen, once filled with echoes of sorrow, now buzzed with laughter and joy as neighbors gathered around the table, sharing stories and meals that celebrated life rather than mourning loss. Lena found fulfillment in nurturing not only the garden but also the relationships that blossomed around her. She often reflected on how far they had come since she first arrived, how the garden had transformed from a haunted space into a vibrant symbol of healing. With each harvest, she felt a connection to Jake's wife, honoring her memory by creating dishes inspired by her favorite recipes. Jake, too, began to heal. He found comfort in their shared moments, allowing himself to remember the love he once had while also envisioning a future. Together, they nurtured the land and their friendship, proving that even in the face of tragedy, new beginnings could emerge. In this sanctuary of growth and remembrance, Lena realized that her decision to stay had not only changed Jake's life, but had also transformed her own. weaving them together in a tapestry of hope and healing.